the good thing about it, Justice Bedu has joined us. So let's have Justice. Justice, good morning. And we just watched your story. We also know vividly what has transpired over the period, the last 24 hours. But what will be the ongoing ceremony from today?
So it's just the day has just broken here in Yendi, and we are live from the inner perimeters of the Gbewaa Palace, where the Adua prayers, which is the Islamic prayers, are expected to begin today for the last day of the funeral of the late Yana Abdullahi. It's been a very memorable occasion for many people in this town, many of whom young people who haven't seen something like this before. Yesterday, the event was a huge one. If you can see the yard now, it looks empty. But as at 5 p.m. yesterday, there was not even an inch where you could move, even if you wanted to move a step from where you were standing. This entire yard was filled to the brim with people who had traveled from all over the country and had come here to witness this very historic funeral of a late Yana. The road is now clear for the other side of the funeral, which is the performance of the funeral for the late Yana Yakubu Andani, that is expected to begin on the 4th of January. And so, yes, I have been speaking with organizers of yesterday's funeral, and they've been telling me about their satisfaction with the way that the event was organized. Yesterday, the funeral was graced by the vice president, and he came in with a huge entourage of government officials and state officials who had come in here to grace the occasion. One of the people who came with him was lawyer Hasan Tampuli, who is also an indigent of this area and the chief executive officer of the National Petroleum Authority. We can now listen to a live interview I did, a recorded interview I did with him from yesterday.
The climax of one of the biggest gatherings Yendi has ever seen. This is the Bolin Lana of the Dagbon kingdom, led by his chief warrior of the state and many other sub-chiefs circumambulating the Gbewaa palace. It is the peak of a funeral that has been in limbo for well over 30 years.
This is about the heaviest crowd that I have ever seen and reported from. Many people, children, men and women from not just here in Yendi, but all across the Dagbon state have trooped in here into the Gbewaa Palace to catch a glimpse of what may well be a spectacle of a lifetime.
Over 50 years they haven't experienced this. This is a lifetime event that they are, I mean, many young people, you know, who are, even so many people, over 70 years they have now experienced it. For a lifetime of many people in Dagbon, they have never seen the funeral of the Yana Mamadu or any Yana that was ever performed in the history.
When this funeral was not performing, there was a lot of problem in Yendi. Anytime, there was curfew, there was everything in Yendi. We can't sleep. They were fighting each other here. But now that it has been done, I'm sure Yendi will have total peace in Dagbon.
Many here did not imagine a day like this would ever come. There is excitement in the air. The crowd is thick and the unending drumming and dancing is blowing thick dust that is going high in the air. It's been over 3 decades since the late Yana's death. In that period, the city has been thrown into a state of unease and chaos, many times forcing some of its finest indigents to even flee for their lives. The worst victims were its women and children.
People would always want to come and visit their families who are in Yendi. But as it was at that time, it was something that they have to sit and think about it. What will happen if they come? What will they tell their people whom they will leave at different places to come and see them? What will they go back? What will be the feedback when they come and see their people in that sorrow? It was a very sad thing as at then. People were doubting as to whether it will be able to happen. But God being so good and things being so well, people are happy. And even those who are not around and they can see on the media, to be frank, they are very happy about what is going on currently.
So that is one of the...
As this funeral draws to a close, the other faction, the Andani Gate, will also be preparing for that of the Yana Abdullahi Andani in a week's time. It is widely believed that will be the biggest hurdle. And if this city and its people are able to make that leap, then Yendi, the once vibrant capital of the Dagbon kingdom, could be on its way back to its former glory. Justice Beidou, JoyNews, Yendi.
Yeah, so as you did see in that video, the thick crowd that came into the Gbewaa Palace here yesterday. I have been reporting and working from many crowded areas and from many political rallies, and the crowd that I saw here yesterday compares to none that I've seen before. Many people looked excited, putting up different Dagbon culture, dancing, firing of musketry to crown what has been 2 weeks of a funeral that has been in limbo for decades. What is going to happen in the rest of today? What is going to happen in the rest of today are Islamic prayers to close it. But as I did indicate earlier, the Vice President of the Republic came here yesterday with many senior government officials, including lawyer Hasan Tampuli, who is also an indigent and one of the many young people who are expressing hope for the future of this town that now wants to put itself together and bridge peace ahead of what has been a very historic funeral. Let's hear what the discussion that I had with him late last night. And then also the climax, which is tomorrow. It's been a memorable event. Many of the people I've been speaking with, the young people who have never seen any event like this in their life, who are saying that this is a very memorable event, a very historic one indeed, and are with high hopes that today's event would open the gate for the peace that they've all been looking forward to in the Yendi and in the entire Dagbon state. We've been here for the last 24 hours or so, and this event has been graced by the Vice President, His Excellency Mahmoud Bawumia. He came with an entourage, a huge entourage with many government officials and state workers. One of them is also an indigent of Yendi, lawyer Hasan Tampuli, who is also the chief executive of the National Petroleum Authority. Lawyer, you've been here all day witnessing this event. First of all, tell us about your impressions as a son of this land. What's the feeling like on a day like this?
Thank you very much, Justice. I feel a very deep sense of satisfaction for what has happened today. It's been 30 years since the passing of Yana Muhammadu Abdullahi, and the funeral has been held in abeyance. Different mechanisms have been put in place to ensure the performance of the funeral, and none has yielded any positive results until the setting up of the Committee of Eminent Chiefs led by the Otunfu Asante Hene, the second, and then it made up of the Nigeri and then the Dagbon Wura. I think essentially what we have to do is to give thanks and praises to the Committee of Eminent Chiefs for the yeoman's job that they have done. Many a times you find that the two sides have attacked the Committee of Eminent Chiefs for being biased one way or the other towards either side. But they've held on, and I think we have to give thanks and praises to them for the tenacity of purpose and for the fortitude of mind to be able to continue. Essentially what a mediation is for the two parties to come together and to have a mediator. So the work of the mediator is to find a way to get the parties to come to a middle ground. So if we have to praise at all, we have to praise both the Abudu Gates and the Andani Gates for agreeing to move away from their extreme positions to come to the middle ground, culminating in the roadmap for peace, which ensured that the funeral of Yana Muhammad Abdullah will perform for 2 weeks, a lull of 1 week, and then we'll take over and continue to perform the funeral of Yana Yakubu Abdullah. I think that what has happened today marks a significant watershed for the development of Dagbon. What has transpired today is one way that Dagbombas are saying that we embrace reconciliation, we embrace unity, and we embrace peace. And it's also indirectly saying that we do not accept confusion, and we do not accept the services of chieftaincy contractors, and we do not accept the services of people who stand to put our heads against each other. Both families, both Abudu and Andani Gate, trace their ancestry to Yana Yakubu Nanto. All right? They all trace their ancestry. So Yana Muhammadu Abdullah, through Yana Abdullah, Nabulabla, then to Namahan Kurle, then to Naasane, and then it goes all the way to Naburu. All right? Then you get Kampakuyana. It takes to Na Yakubu, then to Na Andane, to Namahambla, to Na Andane, and then to Na Yakubu Nanto. So when they go like this, they all end up at the same place. So they are essentially one people. What has happened today and what will happen in the next 2 weeks goes to show that the Gombas have buried the hatchet, and that we will not again let history repeat itself. What has happened today has become a lesson for the Gombas. We have seen everything that has transpired from 1954 up to date. Different commissions of inquiry, committees. We have the Sribwa Committee, we have the Matekole Commission, and we have the Olenu Commission, we have LI 59, we have NRC 236, and so on and so forth. Then we have the Court of Appeal decision in 1984 or so, and then we have the Supreme Court decision of 1986. All these things have chronicled a certain history of ups and downs of Dagbon, things that have gone wrong and things that have gone right. We need to, as a people, come together now and then take the pieces of what would let us be together as we take the forward march of Dagbon.
Right.
I'm very excited about what has happened today, and I'm looking forward to the funeral of Yana Yakubu Andani. The Gombas will come here once again and will perform the funeral of Yana Yakubu Andani, and then we'll march forward as a group of people.
Right. Many have said, and coming to just that, many have said that would be the biggest hurdle, and if we're able to cross that, then we could then say that we are indeed drawing a close to what you've described as a long history of opposing each other. Leading up to this week, we've had a couple of concerns coming from the Kapunkuyana and even from people from the Abudu Gate as well. There is a bit of uncertainty if indeed the funeral is going to happen in a week's time as per the roadmap. You are in government. What are you hearing? What is happening? Are we going to have the funeral?
As of today, the family of the late Yana Yakubu Andani have paid a courtesy call on His Excellency the President Nana Dodanko Akufo-Addo to inform and to reaffirm their commitment to perform the funeral of Yana Yakubu Andani starting from the 4th of January. So as we speak, they should be back in Yendi, and they were led by the Vuna Alhaji Mohammed Bawa, lawyer Ibrahim Mahama, and sons and daughters of the late Yana Yakubu were at the Jubilee House to reiterate and to reaffirm their commitment to perform the funeral of late Yana Yakubu Andani. So we've gone past that stage. I believe that what has transpired today again goes to fortify the position that Dagbon is on the forward march.
So now looking into the future, people like yourself are the new face of Yendi and indeed the Dagbon state. Young people full of energy, education, and with a lot to give to this city that has suffered a lot from people who have had to leave this place in fear of their lives and all of that. What sort of future do you envisage for this city and its people?
I'm sure when you came here today, you saw that the overwhelming majority of the people are people who are below the age of 50. The last time an event like this took place in Yendi happened, I believe, in September 1969. That's 1 year shy of 50 years. A lot of us today, are below the age of 50. So we are witnessing history for the first time. But we have witnessed the results of the conflict as children here in Yendi. I've lived here in Yendi for some part of my life, and we have been under curfew a lot of times. In 1986, in 1988, after the Supreme Court decision, conflict here and there, and so on and so forth. So at different points in time, now all of these people would have to taste Yendi afresh. A Yendi without a conflict, a Yendi where we are each other's keeper, a Yendi that has embraced peace, a Yendi that is looking forward to development, a Yendi that will ensure that all his sons and daughters, and indeed everyone in Dagbon, and when I say Dagbon, I don't mean just where Dagombes are. I mean everywhere the Yana has dominion over. And I'm talking of Cheriponi, I'm talking of Saboba, I'm talking of Tatale, and all of these places. 15 out of the 31 constituencies in the northern region are under the domain of the Yana. So peace in Dagbon invariably is peace to all these 15 constituencies. You understand? So we are looking forward to the day that we will have a Yana, and the Yana will be a Yana for the Gombes, and not Yana for Abudus or Yana for Andanis. A Yana whose palace will be open for Abudus and for Andanis, so that they go there, they go to Yana as their father, who will embrace all. And everybody will accept that this is our Yana. We're looking forward to that day. And I believe that when we have this amount of certainty, then everybody will be, at peace in wherever that they are doing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hasan Tampuli.
Yes. I want to thank you so much for making the time to come and be with us. I'm sure before you're coming, people would have scared you to say Yendi is a conflict zone. Yendi, here you are. Look at them. Peace-loving people.
Well, I am very familiar with this place, and I must say, as far back as about 2011, I was here working on a project that was looking at how women were coping at the time when the curfews were at its peak, and so yes, we understand the process, and hopefully, like you said, there would be a close to this conversation, and hopefully this will be the beginning.
I guarantee you one thing. The bad news from Dagbon today marks the end of the bad news. I'm sure anytime that you come here, you will come and cover stories about factories being commissioned, roads being commissioned, hospitals, schools, and so on and so forth. We stand for development. And from today, we have all made a commitment that the past is history. We are marching forward. On we go. Dagbon.
Thank you very much.
Ghanaians should look forward to Dagbon. Dagbon is on the rise.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doc. And that is lawyer Hasan Tampuli, CEO of the National Petroleum Authority, and also a son of Yendi and Dagbon. And as you did hear from him, he and many like himself from both sides represent the new face of Yendi and Dagbon. Young people with lots of education, lots of energy, who are poised to helping rebuild the city, a city that once was an economic hub in the entire northern enclave of this country. From the Gbewaa Palace here in Yendi, my name is Justice Beidou for JoyNews.
And Justice Baidu, comprehensive report coming in. We had an earlier report from Thursday where we had the funeral rites, and for the next 2 weeks we're going to bring you events that will be taking place. Today we have more events to look up to as part of the whole itinerary and the whole ceremonies that will be convened as part of the burial ceremony. And we know the man himself died over 30 years ago. But because of the disputes standing on and also lingering in the minds of indigents of the area, at least the work done by the Committee of Eminent Chiefs led by the Otumfuo Hasan Tampuli II has come to stay, and we're hoping that the truth that has now been recorded will go a long way, creating a certain atmosphere for all generations, whether born, currently existing, or unborn, for the Dagbon people.